So, welcome, Liberation Tribe. Today, you've seen the title, so we are talking about New Year, Who This? And this is really our opportunity to talk about how we are going to live our lives liberated. And this work is a journey. And so, we really are part of this journey is first defining what the journey looks like. So I have a bunch of notes, and so I may look down a little bit, so excuse your girl. But I want to make sure I get all my points together. And if you know me, and you will, because we friends now. We friends, y'all. It may turn into a thing if we're reviewing or thinking about or reflecting on last year or even this week, we might think like, oh my goodness, like I didn't get to do all the things that I wanted to do for last year. Or we might be thinking like, I did get to do everything I wanted to do last year, but I really want to take it to the next level. So if you're in that boat, like me, raise your hand, we in it together. And this is our opportunity to really define what we want this year to look like for us. In spite of what we're seeing, in spite of what has happened, we still have to press towards the mark and be ready to live our lives in a liberated way. So, normally most of us start our new year off thinking like, okay, let us begin by doing something, or let us begin by creating a resolution. And I'm not here to step on nobody's toes, so don't nobody try to come for me. But I really just don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I feel like New Year's resolutions are those things where an individual has a destination to something. It's a goal that has a beginning and an end. And I don't see journeys in that way. So, I think that there's nothing wrong with, having a resolution, because those are necessary. Setting those really marked goals are important. So, yes, like you, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to be slim thick. Yes, I want to have better credit, so I'm working on my debt and snowballing it. Yes, there are people and situations in my life that were toxic in last year, and I was like, gotta cut that out. So yes, I'm with you. We have to set those type of goals because that grows us and that allows us to go there. But if we are so focused on the resolution, in my opinion, what typically happens is then we go to a place where we're saying we are either passing or failing, or succeeding or not failing, or failing at what we wanted to do. And ultimately, what does that mean? That means that if we succeed and I lose the weight that I said I wanted to lose, then I'm slim thick and my Instagram stories are lit, my pictures are up, I'm letting you know how much I did and how I got there. But if I don't do well, then the first thing I'm wanting to do is consider myself a failure, and I'm considering myself to be a person that didn't meet what I set out to do for myself. And I truly believe that sometimes those type of resolutions can be dream killers. And we are not here to kill dreams in this new year, okay? We are here to live these dreams. So that is why I am never married to a resolution. I'm really all about the journey. So there are some things that I think that when we're talking about moving forward into this new year, who this, that I really want us to focus in on. So if we define what journey means, right? What is a journey? A journey, by definition, is a path or a passage from one place to another. That can also be termed like voyage or move or movement. And I think that I like that because it lets you know that you're always going in certain directions. I almost want you to think about it like a stream of water, right? So a stream of water flows, but it has to be flexible and adaptable to whatever the course of the water has to go through. And isn't that like life? Like, aren't we all having to face something and have to be flexible and back and move and adapt to whatever the new curveball of the day is hitting us with? And that is what allows us to really make it from that one point to the other. That is the journey. And so I think that we all have to be committed to moving in that way. And so that is why we're here today, so to define the journey. So I really want to talk about these 5 things. So the first thing that I would want us to do on our liberation journey and defining the journey is, one, you need to define the journey for yourself, right? Define the journey for yourself. And what does that mean? That means that whatever you are setting for yourself, whatever goal you want to establish for yourself, whether that is starting a new job, losing weight, traveling abroad, moving abroad, falling in love, or being more open to love. Whatever that particular goal or journey that you want to put yourself on, understanding that that is your individual path. Just because I want to become a baker doesn't mean that someone else needs to become a baker too, unless that's your passion. I think it's really important that you really sit with yourself, talk to yourself, allow yourself to really think about what it is that you want, and then you have to make sure that that is your individual journey. And understanding that even as you've just defined what your journey is, not everyone's going to understand it. Not everyone's going to get it, and not everyone's going to support it. And that is okay. You have to know that even if you are living in the same household and you are siblings, or you have a spouse, or you have friends that are in your circle, and you have an idea and they're like, that is out of the box. That is crazy. You have to be confident in yourself to say, you know what, you're absolutely right. But that's why it's my journey. And you don't owe anyone an explanation, or you cannot wait for other people to really jump on your bandwagon in order for you to follow your journey. Right? So defining your journey is number one. Number two, be open. Be open. I think this is a really good tip, because I think one of the things we think about is, what can I see? What is really in my front view? If I can see it, then I can get there. But sometimes where our journeys are going, you cannot see. It's out of the realm of your imagination. And so what I ask you to do is take a moment and say, what is the wildest thing I could think I could become in this world, or be in this world, or do in this world? And that's probably what you really want to do, but you think it's out of your reach, and it's not. It isn't. You think about some people that we think are prolific out there. Think about that one person in your life that's like, wow, they doing it. They're doing it so big, or they're doing such great things, or I wish I had that kind of confidence. And if you talk to that individual, I can almost guarantee you that they said, I didn't think I could do this. I don't know how I got here. I really, had to think outside the box to get here. I had to be open. And that is what really separates good from great. And so be open. Think about it. The most outside the box that it is, probably the more uncomfortable you feel about thinking about that idea, is probably what you really, really desire. That's your true heart's desire. And I would say own that. I would say the third thing I would say is be fearless. Be fearless doesn't mean that you're not afraid. So Dr. Susan Peters wrote a book. I think it's a fabulous book, and I'm putting it in the description box below for you to check it out. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Wonderful book. It is a book that I feel really speaks to this ability for you to have and allow your fear to kind of push you out to where you want to go. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a circumstance or an opportunity where you're feeling nervous or scared, but it allows you to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And fear can do two things. Fear can stagnate you, or it can propel you. But we want to allow our fear to propel us to where we say we want to go. Yes, okay. That's what. The fourth thing that we want to do is write it down. We'd be surprised about how that really begins the mark of intentionality in our lives. So write down what it is that you want to do. Write it down and really keep it someplace where you can always go back to it. And I say write it down because it holds you accountable. Once you put it down, you've already spoken into the atmosphere. And you have to be able to say, this is on this date, I said I wanted to do this. And now I have to be accountable to that. So you can go back and see how far you've come. So in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, if you wrote this goal down for yourself, or this journey that you wanted to start out down for yourself, how far or how close are you to accomplishing that goal? How close are you to really actualizing what you said you wanted to do? How close are you you to becoming who you said you wanted to be, it can say, well, wow, I did this 30 days ago and look where I'm at right now. I'm actually closer than I thought I'd be. I'm actually further along than I even anticipated it to be. And once you write it down, you need to speak it out. Now, in the beginning of this, I said to you, don't look for the opinions and the approvals of people that you know and care about. And I still agree with that. That has not changed. What I'm saying to you is be committed to going to speak it out and speaking out into the universe, because that breathes life into it. So it's like almost like you build something and then you breathe life into it so that it can also take on a life of its own. And you'd be surprised about who comes to your life, what resources come to your life, what opportunities will find you once you start to speak it out. But you have to have the mindset of being ready to accept these things when they're coming to you. You can't be like, I want to be whatever it is I want to be. It shows up at your door and you're like, oh no, I'm a little afraid now. No, step into it. Because again, point that we just talked about before is that you're going to be afraid, and that's necessary because that's when you're getting out of your comfort zone. But you have to allow yourself to speak it out into the atmosphere. And the last thing, the very last thing, is be kind to yourself. So I said this in my first video, and I'm going to probably say it in every video that we talk about, is this idea of being kind to ourselves. And why do I say be kind to ourselves? I'm glad you asked. Being kind to ourselves is allowing us to know that the journey requires for what? Success and for failure. So in the beginning of this, I told you really clearly that I do not like resolutions because it's always just a pass or fail, succeed or don't. But in your journey, the success and the failures are necessary. Hear me. Necessary in order for you to get to where you say you want to go, because it allows you to learn about your character, and character builds endurance, and you have to have endurance to go on any journey. Because when you are in this work, be kind to yourself. So on the days that you're not meeting the mark, on the days that I wake up and I don't do what I said I wanted to do, whether it's record or whether it's write because I'm in the process of writing my book, whether it is doing something to enhance my practice, whatever I don't do, I have to be kind to myself and say, maybe today was a hard day. So I was really committed to saying, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to wait until I feel like I'm in a better headspace so I can come and I can give you what I feel are tools to help us start off the new year in a new way. And so I have to practice what I preach to you all. So being kind to myself is necessary for me to feel where I want to go. So being kind to yourself lets you know that we can't always celebrate the wins, but we can always learn from the failures. And all of it is necessary to be where we want to be. So the 5 things that we want to do, right? Let's just make sure we get that so we have it all down in a bow. We want to define it for ourselves, be open and thinking outside the box, be fearless even if we feel the fear. We want to write it down and speak it out, and we want to be kind to ourselves, which is the most important one. Always be kind to ourselves. So guys, that's it. That's the 5 tips that I have for you. So just don't forget to, in the comments below, let me know what you're doing. I want to hear from you. Tell me what's something that resonated with you today and what's something that you're going to do. So please don't forget to like, leave me a comment, share with someone, and also don't forget to subscribe because I really want to hear from you. And let's grow this Liberation Tribe. We're in this. It's a new year. It's a new us. And we are going to do things that are going to grow us in the way that we want to go. So remember that your life is truly not lived fully until it's liberated. Be liberated, tribe. See you soon.